This is my maiden visit, and I'm really delighted to be amongst you today. Haven't visited me several times after the coronation. I thought and decided that early this year I should return the visit to our governor. So we are delighted to be here today. I don't have many things to tell the press today. We have discussed areas of mutual cooperation where the palace and the state government will cooperate. As I mentioned in my speech in the coronation, that certain areas which were highlighted there, we want to partner with government. We also discussed those areas, and of course, the governor, being a brilliant economist, has also highlighted wonderful areas. He's already working hard for the state. We have seen that he's not just a politician. He's also a technocrat, as he was described. And actualize. We should not forget to look into the future. Although they say tomorrow is an elusive concept, tomorrow is now. I can also see that he does not like to procrastinate. He likes to get things done now. And I like that. And I like that about anybody that does not procrastinate. I don't like to procrastinate. I don't like to put till tomorrow what can be done today, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. So it's always better get things done as quickly as possible. Get things done that you can do today, and leave tomorrow to take care of yourself when it comes. We have discussed many areas. I will only mention maybe the area that I've been passionate about, which you all know, the export-free processing zone. When during the coronation, when the president came, President Buhari came to visit me at Uselu when I was still in Uselu, I mentioned that, and again repeated it in the coronation speech, and again repeated it when the governor visited me as the Oba of Benin, to show how passionate I have been about the export-free zone. I mentioned the export-free zone particularly because I know that is what will fly with the federal government, what will take off. I specifically did not zero in on port development, seaport development, but having the export-free zone on ground will naturally tie up with the development of the seaport. When I was in Rome, I carried out some investigations to try to bring investors to Benin to develop the seaport. Gele Seaport specifically. It was at that time I was first advised by some professionals in the system, in Nigeria, the federal system, that I should perhaps reorient my strategy to bring development to that area. That if I focus on the development of Gele Seaport, that it may not fly with the federal government, but if I look towards development of export-free zone tied to agro-allied industries, that is what is most likely going to fly. So I looked at it and I started working on that ever since. So when I came to Nigeria, I focused on it, and any other occasions that I had, I kept on pursuing that line vigorously. So when I read in the papers, was it the Observer? I read in the Observer that the technical committee has been set up that for the development of the seaport, and the Gele people were a Kaladiran community. Indigenous were very happy, but the export-free zone which we want to pursue there, that the government is supporting, but seaport will be naturally tied to it as an evacuation avenue for goods that are processed in the export-free zone, because the export-free zone can also have an airport strip to evacuate processed goods from the zone, and also road networks once the roads are also developed. So we talked about all this, the possibility of setting roads that will link the export-free zone and the Gele Seaport area, and probably the possibility of developing some power in that area. Again, I'm a little bit careful not to preempt the governor what he wants to talk about. So this is the main area which I would like to just mention that we talked about. As I said, we talked about many things. We stayed a long way. We stayed quite a while there, as you saw. But I would like to leave the rest to His Excellency to choose what he wants to talk about. But I know that you all know about my passion for the export-free zone area, and the governor, of course, is already making moves to support that export-free zone by setting up the technical committee headed by Engineer Aro, I believe Engineer Aro as chairman. I want to thank the governor for quick action in setting up this committee, because they will work, and also the choice of the chairman of the committee, Engineer Gregero. It was not by any emotion or sentiment. I believe the chairman is having a square peg in a square hole. But I'm sure he will do his best. Your Excellency, he will do his best. He will be proud of your chairman, appropriate person to handle the committee, and other members of the committee as well. They are all quite suitable. So I thank you very much for this reception. I thank Your Excellency to assure you of the support of the palace. We want to assure you that you have the full support of our ancestors to be where you are. That you should feel comfortable in your office. Whatever problems you see coming or you envisage, please don't hesitate to come to me personally, as you're already doing, and then I'll put heads together with our chiefs to assist you, to assist your government to succeed. By the grace of God and our ancestors, You will succeed in your tenure of office.
Thank
you very much.
When your father decides to come and greet you and honor you and pray for you, you cannot ask for more. I want to thank you, my royal majesty. As you already know, we spent quite a bit of time having very closed-door conversations. And those conversations traversed almost every topic that was contained in His Royal Majesty's coronation speech. For me, that was an extension of my manifesto. Our father, we are barely 70 days in office, and in the last 70 days, we are pleased to inform you that we'll be able to take on some fairly difficult measures, but which were inevitable if we as a people will make progress. We have tried to focus a lot more on governance, because we realize that we were voted in, and this is a government of every Edo person, whether they voted for us or did not vote for us. We have tried to deal with the issue of our long-term financial and fiscal sustainability. We looked at our future, we looked at the current situation we are facing, and we're able to craft a budget which we believe will be the first step to taking us out of our current economic challenges. But we know that out of the current difficulties and challenges which we face, we have no doubt that we will come out as a state and as a country much better off for it. We have also looked very closely at the issue of governance, particularly at the local government level, and have taken very decisive actions to ensure that the menace that had sprung up, where people went in the name of government to harass innocent citizens in the name of tax collection and levies, which was beginning to impede and was having serious impact and consequences on attracting investments into the state, had to be stopped. And in my New Year's Day broadcast, I made it clear that the Constitution only permits state actors to collect government revenues. Because we began to see a situation, a very dangerous trend, where private people and private groups had become a lot more efficient in collecting revenues in the name of the state for themselves. And we're getting to situations where they were beginning to threaten the state itself. We could not sit by and allow such a situation to continue, so we've put a stop to it. We've also sent a bill, our first bill this year, to the House of Assembly, which in effect harmonizes all the taxes, levies, and dues that are supposed to be paid by local governments. That bill is presently before the House of Assembly, Your Majesty, and we trust that our legislators will give it their kind consideration. Following on your speech, we also realized that Edo State, more than any other state in this country, has tremendous advantages that will lift it out of or make it a major economic center in this country. We realize that, like Lagos, we have the logistic advantage because you cannot traverse this country without going through Edo State. Unlike Lagos and some other states, we have very fertile agricultural potentials. And one other asset which we had, like Lagos, which we never really thought about, which propelled the empire, was its access to international trade through the Gili axis. And I realized that was what was on your mind when you were making your pronouncements. So we felt that to reenact our glory days, that is an asset we cannot continue to ignore. And that is why we took steps to make sure that we fast-track the process of making Gili an industrial and agricultural hub. I'm very happy to inform you, Your Majesty, that we were in China last week to meet some potential investors, and the interest is very, very encouraging. We met investors who are prepared to invest in putting a harbor. We met investors who are prepared to use the gas available there to generate electricity, and we've met investors who have experience in building industrial parks, who have made commitments to join us in building an industrial park. So we are very optimistic that this will be a reality, and we're just anxious that it happens very quickly and very soon. Another subject which you mentioned in your speech, or coronation speech, was the issue of community development associations. That is an issue that we must tame, because it will be very difficult and challenging to create 200,000 jobs if we do not put order in our land administration system in Edo State. So following from your broadcast and your pronouncements, we have finalized a draft bill which we will be sending to the House of Assembly next week, which will criminalize any acts by any CDA. Because the statutes today currently does not criminalize the activities, because when people affected go to seek redress, the matter is usually treated as if it's a civil matter. Whereas, as you know, in most cases, arms are used to forcefully eject people or take over people's properties. So from sometime next week, we'll be sending a bill to the House of Assembly, which will in effect create sanctions, criminal sanctions, for people who undertake. I want to thank you for the cooperation that we have received from the palace. I want to thank his very senior chiefs here, all present here. Yes, I cannot mention all of them. If I'm governor here, we will maintain a very cordial relationship with you and the palace. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.